Good morning. Thank you for joining in. My name is Ellen Gould, and my husband and I are the owners of Main Street Media of Tennessee. On behalf of all of our employees, we are pleased to welcome you to the 6th annual 2020 Woman of Wilson celebration. I'd like to thank Vanderbilt for being our host today. They have truly embraced Wilson County as a healthcare resource. We are so lucky they have chosen to bring their wealth of knowledge and practice closer to home. Before we get started, I'd like to share a few words about our company, Main Street Media of Tennessee. We're a 7-year-old company, and we publish 12 community newspapers in 10 Middle Tennessee counties, including the Wilson Post. We produce associated websites and social media pages, as well as niche magazines and emailed newsletters. While our world has been disrupted like never before this year, we believe we have a unique niche. We have actually been able to grow through this pandemic. We hired air radio personality and this morning's host, Devin O'Day, and her longtime ally, Chris Kulick, to help us grow a new product offering back in February. We were going to focus on events. We all know what happened in March. In-person events have been canceled indefinitely. What felt like an absolute disaster has actually turned into a blessing. We punted, not at the first end zone that we were running toward, but a better one. People still want the news and information that we produce. How do we get it to them? We needed this time to stimulate some good consumer-focused solutions, print and digital like we had always done, but now podcasts, live videos, sports websites, and e-newsletters for our readers and our advertisers. Yes, there's a disease that scares us out in the world, but people will find a way to live, breathe, and go on with their lives. Our subscriber base is growing both in print and online. People want the news from a credible source with ties in their community, a source that has vetted the information and asked the tough questions. People come to us to get the truth. I'm proud to say that every year the Wilson Post and its sister papers get awards for strong journalism from the Tennessee Press Association. Our overriding focus is our content, local news. But underneath, there are a few other guiding philosophies. One is we love to celebrate the communities in which we operate and to recognize achievers. That is why Women of Wilson fits nicely into our mission. We love to share stories of women who are making a positive impact in the county. With all the bad news happening in our world, it's nice to have the opportunity to focus on positive things that are going on. As a weekly newspaper, the internet allows us to break news through our websites or on social media. As we have focused more and more on breaking news online and through social media, our numbers have skyrocketed. We generate about 2 million online page views a month, and that number continues to grow quickly. We also have more than 160,000 followers on our social media pages. Think about how this has helped Woman of Wilson. Every Wednesday, we not only run Woman of Wilson in the paper, but we also post it online and on Facebook. Without exception, that post is shared often and it reaches thousands of people. No question, the business model for online and print are different. But we strongly believe that digital and social media enhance our news brands. We want to be the leading source of news and information in our communities we serve. And that takes a combination of print, digital, social, and the new media that we have introduced recently to do that. We want to be that source because we know that helps grow readership of the newspaper. We have bucked the trend in our industry as our company has increased the number of papers we print each year. We think our digital reach has helped with that. Okay, enough about us. Let's talk about why you are all here today, and that is to celebrate what you have done and continue to do in Wilson County. Dave and I have 8 children ourselves, and it is always inspiring to read how other women are able to balance work, family, and service to their community in their busy lives. So at this point, I'd like to turn the program over to Devin O'Day and Hope Altieri.
Welcome, everybody, to the Woman of Wilson Awards. Hope Altieri is here with me. This is a very exciting day, isn't it?
It sure is, because I love being a woman and I love empowering other women and celebrating all that is womanhood. So yes, Devin, this is extremely exciting.
One of the questions for some of the women that we're going to be talking about is, who is the most influential woman in their life? Do you have somebody that fits that bill for you?
I do. Actually, my mother. And I'm sure that most people are going to give that answer. But in my mom's case, it's true, because my mom raised me, and it's really funny you're asking me, because I actually had this conversation with her the other day. My mom raised, I'm the middle of 3 girls, and so there's a lot of estrogen in my family, a lot of women. And yeah. she raised each one of us girls to really have confidence in ourselves. And she instilled in us just like a core value of, if there was something that we could do, there was never anything that was too big for us to accomplish. And she set out with, and really modeled that for me 7 years ago, when she quit her job that she had been doing for almost 20 years. Wow. And she just followed her dream. Wanted to open up her own business, and that's exactly what she did. And so, I mean, boy, that's pretty gutsy, and she did it. It's been wildly successful. And so not only did she instill that in me, but she modeled that for me as well.
Well, there are a lot of women we're going to be talking about, because every week, pretty much for the last year, the Wilson Post has been honoring one woman. Now we're all gather together virtually instead of our big event, and we're going to be honoring all those women, and it will culminate in all of their peers and each other and all the past people who participated, all voting on the Woman of Wilson. We're going to kick things off right now.
Awesome.
Rachel Atwood's a busy mom, getting her master's in education from Trevecca while working at Cedars Prep in Lebanon, with the dream of teaching English for grades 6 through 12. Her grandmother was always her beacon, Geneva Martin, who passed away in November. She spoke her mind confidently, assertively, and people respected her, says Rachel. Ariana Boone is a kindergarten teacher at Cedars Prep. She earned her bachelor's at MTSU, married her husband Dane in 2018, and credits her mother Ann with her inspiration. She is everything a strong woman should be. Audrey Berger, a UT grad, taught school for over 40 years, from Caryville, Tennessee to Walter J. Baird and Winfrey Bryant Middle School. She and her husband Steve have been married nearly 44 years with 3 adult children and 1 grandbaby. The women in her admiration scope are the younger generation, like her daughter and daughters-in-law. They bring her joy. Erica Chick teaches 3rd grade at Castle Heights Elementary. She's been married to her husband Joshua for 10 years, and they've got a 3-year-old named Ruby May. She credits her mother for teaching her how to be a good mom. She's 1 in a million. I'm her biggest fan. Kayla Horvath joined the law firm of Kane & Crowell as an associate in 2016. She's a Mount Juliet grad and attended MTSU before moving toward her law degree. She married in 2017 and says Vicki Benjamin, her mom, inspires because no matter what happens, she's always shown an immeasurable amount of strength. Jody Haynes has been a nurse in the emergency department at St. Thomas West for the past 2 years. A grad of both Friendship Christian School and Lipscomb University, she chose her career because she wanted to care for people. The women that have championed her are God-fearing women like Millie Van Hook, Karis Daniels, Kristen Meredith, and Becky Petty, and her mom, Kim Haynes. Lindsay Kingsbury is a medical esthetician and loves making women feel confident in their own skin. She recently celebrated her 1st anniversary at Beauty Boutique. Born in Mount Juliet, graduating from Ezel Harding Christian School, her mother is her hero. She's been through almost every imaginable pain and is still the strongest, most productive, most Christ-like person I know. Debbie Hobbs-Leftwich has been a rock star in real estate since '85 and currently works with C21 West Main. I've sold 3 generations of families many times. That's what I'm most proud of, she says. She's been Realtor of the Year 3 times. She and her husband have 4 children and 6 grands. When she started in real estate, the only women who sold real estate in Lebanon were Joyce Berry, Doris Newman, and Frances Rose. I've always looked up to them, she says. Brandy Lindsay owns Wildberry. Her best friend Cynthia asked her to do the food for her wedding reception, which led to her now business. 17 years, Wilson County has been her home after she moved to go to school at Vanderbilt. She and her daughters, Eva and Gracie Jo, admire women like her Momo, her mom, and her Aunt Kathy, who taught her the value of keeping a peaceful, inviting home. Casey Monette, a realtor at Blackwell Realty and Auction and design specialist for Stuart Knowles Construction. The Eastern Middle Tennessee Association of Realtors Rookie of the Year in 2017 and Platinum Award winner of Excellence the following year, she stays busy. She's married to Robert for 17 years with 3 children. She says of her mom, Betty Jo Sumrell, "I've never seen life throw anything at her that she didn't handle with grit and grace. I'm only able to do what I do because of her." Carolyn Moore's been a family nurse practitioner at Cheris, a nonprofit healthcare clinic in Mount Juliet for the past 2 years, providing care to patients who normally wouldn't have access to health care. She earned her undergrad at Millikan University, then met her husband Brian while on a travel nurse assignment in Shreveport, Louisiana. They've got 2 sons. She has big travel goals. She's been to all 50 states, so now she wants to visit all 7 continents. We've got so many people that made these ladies feel special with these honors, so let's have one of our own sales rock stars to tell you about one of the main gifts for women of Wilson.
My name is Debbie Mabry, and I'm the sales executive for Main Street Media, the Wilson Post in Lebanon. And I want to congratulate all the beautiful women that were nominees for our 2020 Women of Wilson. And this morning, I want to give a great thank you and a shout out to Nicole Bell. She is the owner of the local beauty boutique, spa, and salon in Lebanon. And she is giving our wonderful winner this year a gift bag full of goodies so that you can go spend a day in her shop in that beautiful atmosphere and just pamper yourself. So congratulations to everyone that was nominated this year.
Well, let's get back to what we're here for, the women of Wilson. Tia Rios has owned her own boutique with her name on the door in Mount Juliet for 7 years. This Gladeville girl moved back home from South Carolina, and 2 weeks later, her mom saw a building for lease on Lebanon Road. That's how she went from trade shows and kiosks to small business owner. She and her family enjoy horseback riding and board games, and her mother is her shero, Realtor Tina Perry. Diana Haynes is a program director with Wilson County Court-Appointed Special Advocates. This Vanderbilt grad has worked with CASA for a decade, training volunteers to advocate for abused or neglected children. She lives with her husband Patrick in Mount Juliet. Her 3 children are grown. Diana looks to her mother for her strong convictions, but says her daughter is the bravest woman she knows. Tyroma Rigsby is a nurse practitioner who owns Lebanon Healthcare Center, providing primary care as well as aesthetic services like Botox and fillers. She considers her patients extended family. Raised in Smithville, started at MTSU but got her doctorate of chiropractic and biology degree at Life University. Then at 30 took another turn and got her nursing degree at Cumberland, then nurse practitioner degree at Vanderbilt. She's been married for 17 years with 5 children, and her most admired woman is her Aunt Polly, Mildred Suffrage. Leola Boudreau has been in residential lending since '94, currently working with Christina Weist's team at Cardinal Financial in Mount Juliet. With the ability to lend in over 30 states, she's worked with some of the biggest banks in the world. She moved to Tennessee in 2018 to be closer to her grandkids. Her volunteer work includes Girls on the Run, an after-school program for girls in grades 3 through 6. She most admires stay-at-home moms because their work is never done and so often overlooked. Beth Bradshaw is an interventionist at Tucker's Crossroads Elementary with a degree from MTSU in Family and Consumer Science Education. and a master's in teaching from Cumberland University. She is married to Jason Bradshaw. They both attended school together early on, but didn't meet until she was working at Watertown Elementary. They have 2 children, 2 under the age of 2, which does provide some challenges. She likes fixer-upper furniture projects for fun. Emily Hall's been an RN at Summit Medical for 3 years, and it's not her job, it's her calling. She's a 2012 grad from Watertown and in the 2017 class from Cumberland. She works on the Clinical Decision and Progressive Care Unit at Summit. Her guiding lights are her mom Lois, her grandmothers Elena and Emma Jean, and her boyfriend's mom Renee. Kirsten Harris. This hometown Southern girl doesn't just call Wilson County her current home. It's her only home. She's a hospice nurse with Alive Hospice, calling it the most rewarding job she's ever had, providing the best care possible in a time of need. She attended Castle Heights Military Academy and graduated from Friendship Christian, then earned a degree in social work from MTSU. She met her husband Scott in '94, and they've been married 24 years with 1 daughter that she calls the greatest joy in her life. Elizabeth Howe is a senior account executive at Varallo Public Relations in Nashville. She's always loved music, so doing PR, websites, and newsletters for bands was a way into the music business she loved. She's an executive director for Safe Harbor Sanctuary for Horse Rescue. Her grandmothers, Virginia Elizabeth Swigert and Ruth Elizabeth Howe, are women she admires. One served in the Army Nurse Corps in World War II, and the other volunteered with the local hospital auxiliary. Amber Judkins has taught English and creative writing at Mount Juliet High for the past 3 years, also considering it a calling, not just a job. She shares that Mrs. Cantrell was a teacher that really pushed her in school and inspired her to pursue teaching as a profession. Originally from Gladeville, her family moved to Watertown when the Nashville Speedway bought part of their farm. Her mother wins the most admired slot in her life as the strongest, most selfless, and loving person she knows.
I hope that you're enjoying and sharing all of the exciting women that you are seeing on this broadcast right now. We are so excited. And if you hear somebody's name and you think they might not be watching, just put them in the comments of this broadcast. Isn't that right, Hope?
That's exactly right. We want as many eyes and ears as possible to celebrate all of these women and their endeavors. So please share with your friends. Have a hen session. If you've ever had the need for a hen session, right now is the need for a hen session. So share with all of your friends, and it is now time for you to officially brag. So please do so.
And we're going to brag on our sponsor. And coming up in September, something very exciting is going to be happening. Our sponsor is Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. And we have a hospital right here at home that takes care of the needs of women. They find us so important that we're going to have our own department. And with that, we've got a wonderful interview that we're going to share with you right now with Dr. Adam Huggins, who is, well, it's a long name. I'll let him tell you about it.
We were with Dr. Adam Huggins, Associate Chief Medical Officer at Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital and Assistant Professor of Obstetrics and Gynecology. And I had to read that because it's a lot. That is a mouthful of qualifications. And first of all, let me be just right up front in saying I'm so glad you're here.
We're thrilled to be here. Thank you so much for having us here today.
Well, the sponsor, Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital, is the sponsor for Women of Wilson, and we're grateful to have you not only as a sponsor but as a partner in our world here in Wilson County. I want to ask you a little bit about when you came to this position and how long you've been here.
Sure. And
what are your some dreams that you have for this department?
Absolutely. Again, thank you so much for having us here. We are thrilled to be associated with Women in Wilson County. As an OBGYN, obviously, women and women's health care is near and dear and personally important to me. So I joined Vanderbilt in 2013. I've been in private practice, actually at Summit Medical Center prior to that for about 4 years, and joined Vanderbilt in 2013, and then became the Associate Chief Medical Officer of Vanderbilt Wilson County in March of 2020. In fact, I joined the day before the tornado and about 3 days before the COVID pandemic. So please don't hold that against me, but it's been a very exciting, if not in some ways challenging, first few months of being here. Vanderbilt took over this hospital in August of last year, so just over a year ago. And we've been thrilled to be a part of this community and are very excited about all of the opportunities that we see here and the opportunities to serve not just the women of Wilson County, but all people in Wilson County with their healthcare needs.
What is the importance, do you think, of the role of women's health at Vanderbilt Wilson and in our community?
Oh my gosh, women's healthcare is really integral to healthcare in general for a lot of reasons. Number one, women are the number one consumers of healthcare in the families. Most patients and their families tend to get their healthcare where the women in their family get their healthcare, clearly through the obstetric process and women's health. Obviously, we follow women, from their early young age when they're children all the way through menopause and beyond, and so we really see the full spectrum of healthcare and all the conditions that come along with that. And so I think women's healthcare is just so important, and we at Vanderbilt really try and change the mindset of how people think about women's healthcare. I think traditionally, for lack of a better term, it's kind of been thought of as bikini medicine, breast and pelvis, and we realize that clearly there's so much more to that, and we see really the full woman and all of her healthcare needs, from primary care to things that are gynecologic specific, to other issues, mental health and others. So we want to be able to provide comprehensive healthcare to not only the women, but again to all patients in Wilson County.
Let's talk about what this year has looked like for
Sure.
Vanderbilt Wilson and the investment that Vanderbilt Wilson has made into Wilson County. Well, first of all, thank you for the investment in the women of Wilson. That's important. That's saying right there, women are important to us.
It is.
But let's talk about this past year.
So it's been an incredible year. Like I said, Vanderbilt took over this hospital in August of 2019. Since that time, we've brought on over 160 different physicians and providers in a variety of specialties. We've brought in specialties that were not here before. For instance, urology. There were no urologists here before. We've brought in more gastroenterology. We've brought in medical surgical weight loss. We are opening our cancer center with cancer providers. Of course, the women's OBGYN practice is going to be starting soon. So we've revamped our ER, so the ER is now covered by Vanderbilt physicians. We've added a new hospitalist group, which improves the level of care. So really across the board, we have expanded the healthcare options and support for not only the hospital, but for the community at large. And so we really think that not only what we have done, but what we plan to continue to do is just going to be a great resource for the entire population in the region.
September is a big time for us, and the Vanderbilt Center for Women's Health Lebanon will be opening. And tell us a little bit about what we will find in this practice.
Absolutely. So we have a really exciting practice model at Vanderbilt Center for Women's Health. We are an integrated practice model that uses midwives and physicians practicing side by side. So one of the things that you will see in Wilson County for the obstetric population is midwifery care that includes not only office care, but delivery care in the hospital and postpartum care as well. The gynecologists are there as well to provide support, not only for women that might need C-sections, but of course for all the other needs throughout a woman's life. In addition to that, one of the things that you'll see that has not been an option before is female providers that will be available. So for the women of Wilson County that prefer to have a female provider, we'll have those options available, and that's something that's not been available before. So I think we're going to really be providing a unique set of choices for patients and options for patients that will meet them where they are and be able to give the kind of care that they want in the way that they want it, and really provide a wonderful level of service for the patients in Wilson.
And there are certain medical procedures that they say when seconds matter. It's really wonderful to have a place that's close to home.
Absolutely. But that's we find that to be particularly true in obstetrics, of course, around deliveries and things like that. One of the unique things about our model is that we have providers basically in-house 24/7 essentially. And so those seconds do matter, and that's why we have that model of care. So there will be people available should you have an unexpectedly quick delivery. There will be people available should you need an emergency C-section and things like that. So that's just one example of where when those seconds and minutes matter, that we have that available. We're also working on things to enhance our nursery services and things like that. So not only is the mother taken care of, but then we have this state-of-the-art and best level care for the babies as well.
Well, thank you again for being part of this program, the Women of Wilson, and for being part of our community, because it just raises the level of the community The level of medicine that is available to our community determines so much of the quality of life, and we appreciate you for that. The Vanderbilt Center for Women's Health Lebanon is at 1616 West Main Street, Suite 101 in Lebanon. Check out VanderbiltWilsonCountyHospital.com.
Thank you so much.
Well, let's get back to what we're here for, the women of Wilson. Kimberly Keller. This nominee is the clinic director of fast-paced health urgent care in Watertown. She began her career as an LPN at TCAT in Hartsville, got her nursing degree at Cumberland, and has completed her master's as a family nurse practitioner at TSU. She married into Wilson County, so to speak, when she met her future husband on a visit here from Arkansas to see a friend. She greatly admires her mother because she's always worked hard and showed that anything I wanted to achieve in life was possible with hard work and dedication. Heidi King is a financial advisor with Raymond James, Wilson Bank Investment Services. She's a Mount Juliet native whose favorite part of her job is helping someone plan for their next phases in life, like a newborn's education or what life in retirement can look like. She's a wife of 16 years and a mommy of 2. Her mother is her greatest influence, teaching her and her 3 sisters compassion, friendship, a need to give, but most of all, a drive to persevere. Amy Kinslow is a Wilson Central High grad and owns Southern Fried Design Barn, recently recognized by Spanx creator Sarah Blakely with a $5,000 COVID-19 recovery grant from the Red Backpack Fund of her foundation. Amy's Southern Fried Design Barn employs an all-female staff that produces shirts, kitchen towels, stationery products, among other things, and her items are carried in over 300 stores in the country. She got her bachelor's at MTSU and says her mother Paula and both of her late grandmothers, Ann Kinslow and Nell Tidwell, were very influential on her. I come from strong women on both sides of my family, she says. Leah Ledford is a nominee from Lebanon, a Lebanon high school grad and a registered dental hygienist with Southeastern Dental Group in Madison, where the rewards are in building relationships with patients. In those interactions during visits, she provides treatment plans and helpful information that can change a person's confidence about their mouth, she says. In her off time, she's on a women's softball team called Save Second Base. Like many of us, she claims a lot of mamas she can count on if she needs them, and she's grateful. But it's her real-life mama, Melinda Ledford, that created that support circle. She is the most selfless person when it comes to helping others. Laura Perry is a massage therapist who takes appointments to help folks feel better at 50 Shades of Dye in Lebanon, where she's been for 7 years. She lost her dad at a very young age, but fondly remembers how he would fall asleep when she would massage him when she was just a little girl. She has an associate's degree in psychology, but chose massage school so she could start her career. She has 3 daughters, Serenity Faith, Sydney Sierra Hope, and Sienna Faye. Missy Pyle is a bivocational powerhouse as a realtor and staff member at Mount Juliet High, where she's worked in the guidance office for the past 5 years. She currently works at Benchmark after obtaining her realtor's license in 2018. She and her husband Teddy have been married 20 years, and they've got 1 son who is a freshman at Tennessee Tech. Erin Reinsheld. No one ever should have to face the pain of losing a child. But Erin has weathered that storm in the loss of her daughter, the eldest of her 5, Catherine, in 2017. She was only 16. At the time, Erin worked in the legal field and a medical device company where she ushered several products through the FDA approval process. But in March of 2018, Erin and her daughter's best friend, Julia, founded Catherine's Orchestra for All, a nonprofit that ensures anyone with a desire for music education a chance to participate regardless of income. Erin is at the helm writing grants, doing presentations, assisting in schools, just anything people need, and she practices what she preaches as she is learning to play the ukulele and the banjo. Jennifer Selliers is the Director of Internal Compliance for the Tennessee Department of Treasury for a state she's called home since 2013. She married her high school sweetheart, and years later, when it came time to move to Tennessee, Lebanon just felt like home. The Music City star closed the deal with a stress-free commute to downtown. Their mini farm has 45 chickens, and they're exploring the possibility of goats. Jennifer is involved in many nonprofits, including the Fiddler's Grove Foundation. Tiffany Stott has been a Tennessee resident since 1997. A Lebanon High School and MTSU graduate, she considers family the biggest factor for where she lives. She is a registered nurse in the endoscopy department at Centennial. She realizes the fear medical procedures and places can have, so she is a well-known handholder in her department. She's a mother to Morgan, who is 7 years old. Sissy Turner is a Lebanon native working as an associate at Partners Healthcare Group and serves as Children's Ministry Director at Shop Springs Baptist Church, where she's been attending services for 11 years. She's also a Sunday school teacher, a nursery coordinator, and was the church treasurer. She and her husband Jason have 2 children, Amelia, who is 9, and Clay, who is 22 months. Sheila Weathers and her husband Rick chose Wilson County back in 1996 when they were expecting their first child. Today, she's the Director of Ministry Development for Compassionate Hands, a nonprofit that partners with over 38 churches to provide people with shelter, showers, laundry, meals, clothing, and opportunities from December through March every year. Helping the unhoused in Wilson County, she says, when they smile and say thank you for being here for us, you really do care, that makes it worth it. Stephanie Weir just finished her 9th year teaching health science in a career technical education program at Watertown High School. It's an elective for students considering a healthcare career. While some find healthcare is not their thing, others leave high school prepared for entry-level positions or ready for their next level of education. She graduated from Lebanon High and got her associate's degree from MedVance Institute. She likes watching her kids play sports and going to the beach. Amy Wilkin works as a Sikh teacher at Gladeville Middle School, loving the chance of positive relationships with students and witnessing their aha moments. To see their faces light up with joy when they finally understand something they've been working on is priceless, she says. She moved to Nashville after graduating from Southeast Missouri State, where she held scholarships both in academics and softball. She holds a master's degree in administration and supervision from Lipscomb and is involved in Souls for Souls and sponsors Project Selflessness, a club created by her former student, Callie Van Cleve. Sponsors have helped us honor these amazing women today because they wanted to be a part of honoring them too. We'll be right back. From babies to mammograms to heart care specific to women to cancer care for the female anatomy to menopause and medical weight loss and emergent care close to home, Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital has invested in the women of our community. And in September of 2020, a full-service medical center for women will be open to all of us here, close to home. We thank Vanderbilt for coming to our community and making women a priority. Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital, Women's Services, Chest Pain Center, Bariatric Weight Loss Surgery, Robotic Assisted Joint Replacement, a Primary Stroke Center, Inpatient Rehabilitation. The care you need doesn't have to wait. VanderbiltWilsonCountyHospital.com.
Well, let's get back to what we're here for, the women of Wilson.
Rachel Wilson teaches criminal justice at Lebanon High after earning her teaching degree at MTSU and her doctorate of jurisprudence from Nashville School of Law in 2010. She grew up in Mount Juliet and she attended Gladeville Elementary. A relative with special education needs was her catalyst for studying special education. She's a member of the Tennessee Bar Association and a TN Achieves mentor. She has 2 sons at Wilson Central High, and her daughter is at Tennessee Tech. Sharon Grosh is a nominee who is a psychologist and owns Grosh Counseling in Lebanon. She graduated from Lebanon High School and went to MTSU and UT. She's the former director of mental health at the Tennessee Prison for Women. She serves on the board of Miss Ellie's Ministry and volunteers as a speaker on mental health topics. Her mother, Betty Manning Young, greatly impacted her life with the value of education, tenacity, and Southern etiquette. Jamie Brown's country music roots run deep, but love are the roots she has in Wilson County, where she met her now fiancé, Tony Bates, owner of Bates Ford. She's an antique broker, buying, selling, and trading in vintage eccentricities that are truly treasures. When asked about the woman she admires, News Channel 5's Vicki Yates topped the list. Jamie says, "I'm happy to call her friend. She's such a strong voice and pillar in our community." Kaylin Dennis is a business development officer at Wilson Bank and Trust. A Friendship Christian grad who attended the University of Mississippi, she joined the bank in 2019. She and her husband Caleb have been married 8 years and they have 3 children. She knows the value of vacation and loves to travel, completely stepping away from work to spend quality time with her family. Her grandmother, Carolyn Dudley, is a woman she greatly admires. She says she was a consistent presence at every stage of Kaylin's life. She's a true example of someone who achieved success professionally, but always put her family first in everything. Savannah Enoch is pursuing her master's in occupational therapy at Tennessee Wesleyan University after her degree in exercise science from Tennessee Tech last December. She wants to work with special needs individuals. As she studies, she also owns Growing Things Videography with her longtime boyfriend, Grant Partlow. Her passion projects include Empower Me Day Camp, a nonprofit for special needs individuals, and Choices, where she is a caretaker. She says her mom makes sure everything in her life is as perfect as it could possibly be and is always her #1 cheerleader. Rachel Farley is a GIS specialist and trainer for the Comptroller of Tennessee, where she's been for 4 years. Her job allows her to travel the state and help make the job of all the local assessors easier, and also helps our state government work better. Her bachelor's and master's are both from Cumberland University in business and education, respectively. Her son Caleb is 19. She's also a certified yoga instructor who loves being outside, hiking, kayaking, swimming, or spending time with her dogs. Her mother, E. Marie Farley, is her biggest influence. She's the most intelligent, loving, caring, and compassionate person I know. Austin Floyd, half the ownership of the adopted farmhouse coffee shop in Watertown, Austin's vision was to see her downtown business community grow through, well, coffee. She and her husband of 13 years, Dante, have 4 children. They met while working on the General Jackson riverboat. Austin homeschools her children when she's not at the coffee shop, but she's also in school herself, attending Regent University online for a degree in English second language specifically. Her mother, Misty Price, is who she admires most as the backbone of her family and always putting Jesus first. Deanna Duncan is a career educator in Wilson County who teaches audio-visual production. 9 years at Wilson Central High School and now at Green Hill High School. She loves when, for a student, the light bulb begins to glow. She went to UT where she has a Bachelor of Fine Arts in printmaking and a minor in museum studies and anthropology. She has her Master's of Education in Teaching and Learning from Cumberland University, and currently she's in grad studies for e-learning and instructional design at UC Irvine. Look for the nonprofit she's creating. It's called Middle Tennessee Student Film Alliance. Tammy Dickey is a paramedical examiner with Exam 1, building relationships, one insurance exam after another. She's been asking people questions about their health for 17 years, and she loves her job. She and her husband Keith have been married for 20 years, and although the kids are all out of the house now, family is very important to them both. Tammy's mother gets her admiration as a hard worker who retired from the Ford glass plant. If she wasn't working, she was coaching. If not coaching, she was fixing dinner for someone, Tammy says. Allie O'Reel, 3 children, 2 careers, 1 amazing life. Allie co-owns the adopted farmhouse coffee shop in Watertown with her friend, Austin Floyd. She's also a hairstylist full-time at Capella Salon and Spa in Mount Juliet. What I love most, she says, about being a cosmetologist is the people. I've cried with clients, rejoiced with them, prayed with them, been to their weddings, and it's a blessing and a ministry for me. Allie and her husband Andrew have been married 8 years. Jackie Murphy, a lifelong resident of Wilson County, has served as the Register of Deeds since her election in 2018. Before that, she worked in the Register of Deeds office and the Property Assessor's office for 11 years. She has a passion for people and their concerns with properties in this county. She's been married to Wayne for 22 years. Now, here's something you might not know. Jackie placed 5th in the world as a champion barrel racer. She's run 5Ks, half and full marathons. She and Wayne have also shown antique cars and hot rods. Well, when Wayne could catch her. She's in the Mount Juliet West Wilson Lions Club, Wilson One, Lebanon Senior Citizens, and Wilson Gardeners Guild. Kelly Morency is the preschool director at Cedars Preparatory Academy in Lebanon, her 4th year at the school, after previously teaching preschool and kindergarten bridge. Her mother, Donna Davis, inspired her education career because she taught in Metro for 30 years. She's also Kelly's best friend and the woman she most admires. Kelly and her husband, Dan, moved to Lebanon 5 years ago, where they are raising their 2-month-old son, Hank Wyatt. Mitzi Wright grew up in Wilson County, graduating from Lebanon High, and now works as an optician and biller for Gallagher Eye Care in Lebanon. She's been married to her husband Roy for over 2 years. She divides her time between Lebanon and Corinth, Mississippi, where she works part-time for Alcorn Rehab. As far as fun, dancing and deer hunting top her list. She got her first 8-point buck back in January. She admires her mother, former Lebanon Wilson Chamber President and District 23 County Commissioner Sue Vanatta. Helen McPeak is one of those people that you think of when it's Wilson County Fair time. It's hard to tell where Helen ends and the fair begins because they're almost one and the same. She's the executive director of one of the best county fairs in the country. Born and raised here, Helen is a natural for planning the crown jewel of agriculture and tourism for our county. She and her husband Terry have been married 40 years, and she stays busy with the Noreen Community Club, 4-H alumni, Fiddler's Grove Foundation, Tennessee Association of Fairs Board, plus in her spare time, she's a realtor with Cry-Like Realtors. Stay tuned, we'll be right back for more nominees for Women of Wilson. Our trophy for the Woman of Wilson has been created by First Place Trophy in Hendersonville. They've got a huge selection of items that can be used as awards, much more than the standard trophy of yesterday. This one is engraved glass. It honors our recipient in a way that she deserves. Many thanks to First Place Trophy for creating a memento worthy of this moment. Brenda McFarland is a nurse practitioner with Bradshaw Health and was born and raised in Lebanon. After graduating Lebanon High, she earned her bachelor's at Cumberland and her master's in nursing at Vanderbilt. She and her husband of 37 years, Gary, have 3 children and 7 grandchildren. Brenda says her mother, Betty Swaffer Manning, was a Southern lady who raised 3 children mostly on her own, caring for them daily, taking them to church, and teaching them right from wrong. Edie McCullough and her husband Kevin chose Wilson County back in 2002 when looking for a great school system and a slower pace of life. Born in Nashville, raised in Smyrna, and going to college at MTSU, Edie now works in medical sales. She's a registered dietitian but chose the Luminex Corporation, where she is America's marketing manager for respiratory products. She is rewarded by the fact that, especially now during the COVID-19 outbreak, her company developed multiple tests for the virus, putting her at the forefront with products that help labs and their testing needs. She thinks of the patients at the end of these tests and the equipment they supply that helps them. Lisa Dixon was born in Gladeville, one of 6 children on their family farm. She graduated from Lebanon High and MTSU with a degree in social work that emphasized child psychology and sociology. Recently, she's embarked on 2 new career paths, opening the Sale Barn and A Perfect Event. Service is her life, and she served on boards for Leadership Wilson, United Way, Lebanon Wilson Chamber, Ball State Community College, and is on the Wilson County Fair Board of Directors. She admires her mother, who was feisty, lived a tough life, but instilled morals and values in her children. She was a fighter, living through cancer herself and 2 of her children. Well, that concludes our nominees. What a great group of ladies, and quite frankly, they're all winners in our book. and the voting was done by them. To vote for Women of Wilson, you have to be one. So all the nominees, past and present, did the voting. A big thank you to our Wilson Post journalist, Ivan Aronin, who compiled pictures and information about our nominees, and Sabrina Garrett for her interviews and stories about them.
I'm proud to call Wilson County home, aren't you? Well, you don't live in Wilson County, but you're here all the time.
Hey, I would claim Wilson County in a heartbeat because they represented with pride today. So I would have no problem claiming Wilson County.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, now's the time we've all been waiting for. All the women who've been participating and have been listening and sharing and part of this. It's time to announce our one Woman of Wilson County that will represent us for the entire year. Her name, we've already mentioned her. You were voted by your peers, the people that you heard mentioned today, past winners, past nominees. The winner is Kirsten Harris. So, Kirsten Harris, congratulations. We thank you all. We're going to have a beautiful trophy thanks to our friends at First Place Trophy in Hendersonville. They did a beautiful crystal trophy that's all engraved, and I'm just so happy, Kirsten, that you'll be taking home the trophy. And Hope, thank you for joining me today.
Oh, absolutely. I would not have missed this for the world. And to all of you fantastic, fabulous women out there, please continue to pass the torch and be an inspiration to other people as well as the next generation.
What I loved, Hope, is that some of the women claimed their mothers and an older generation, but I like the older women who said that the women that they admired and watched were like their daughters and the younger generation coming up. I think that was just beautiful as part of the story as it unfolds. As our story unfolds in September, Vanderbilt Wilson County will be opening the Women's Health Department there right in Lebanon. So for all those people who thought were in panics because they thought if you're pregnant and you're scared to death you're going to go into an emergency labor or you need an emergency C-section and you'd have to make it to Nashville, guess what? A full-time department all the time. Vanderbilt Wilson County, Lebanon women and taking care of all their health needs. I just love that.
That's amazing. That's incredible.
Well, thank you all for joining us today. This is the Women of Wilson, and we hope you've enjoyed this live broadcast. Hope you'll watch it on the replay. If you heard somebody's name that you know, please put them in the comments. Make sure that they heard it. Share it on your pages. WilsonPost.com is all of your source for Wilson County local news. Thank you, everybody. Have a great and blessed day.
Thank you so much for joining us and for all that made today possible. Now, don't forget to share. We thank Sales Executive Debbie Mabry, Jenny Slowey, Ellen Gould, First Place Trophy in Hendersonville, Beauty Boutique, and Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital in Lebanon. From all of us at the Wilson Post and Main Street Media, Women of Wilson, we salute you. You rock.